Hey everyone, Quentin's here. So in today's video, we're going to cover the last unit of our Get Started training course. So the topic of today will be advanced concepts, and basically we're going to talk about custom web applications. We're going to talk about time series queries and other type of API queries we can do to the Davra platform. Okay. So what we'll do is just drill in there straight up. So we're gonna work on a pre-built application that I have already created. So you can find the code inside GitHub here by clicking on the link. So inside the microservice samples, so that's a kind of a repo, open source, where there's a lot of code available for people working on the platform. So we're gonna work today with the app called View Sample Application. So you can download the full repo and just open your editor inside the View Sample app. Okay. I have created on the side here a microservice that we're gonna use later to host the application on the platform. And here I built a workspace, so it'll be ready for us when we are ready to go. Okay. So let's look at the code. So I have here opened Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna make it slightly bigger for you guys. As you can see, I can actually, we got the node modules and these files, don't worry about this, but most of the code will be inside the source folder. We got also a public one when you can change the 5 icon of the app. And here we got the different environment variables, right? So what you'll have to do, the first thing to do is to create a .env file and fill up the following information. So what is your username, password, and tenant? This will be useful to be able to run the app locally before deploying it on the platform, right? So that's good to run on the web server. So what I do here is I'm just gonna put change the password here with mine, so it's gonna be on quentindavra.com. So I'm just gonna hide this here, putting my face there. I'm gonna save and close that up. Here am I. All right. So now I've done. I fill up all these different variables. What I'll do is in the terminal, I'm gonna run an npm install to install all the dependencies to run the application on my local machine. It'll take a bit of time. And then when it's finished, like here, we're gonna run npm run serve. So this application here, it's a Vue.js application. So it's built on top of a framework, a component library called Vuetify. You don't need to know anything of Vue to be able to do this training. I'll just guide you step by step. So that's just the one we use here in Davra by default. So let's wait until, okay, so this is now running a local server, so we can be able to look at our app directly here in local 8080. So I'm going to open this now. So this is the app we have by default. So as you can see, that's kind of a web application with 2 pages. The first one here lists all the devices we have inside our tenant, and the second tab here, second table here would list the twins we have. So here for each twin we can click on it and have some information. We can go back there and we can click on the given device and see some information as well, time of where it is located and stuff like that. Okay. Very cool. But what we're going to work on today will be more on the chart page. So if you go to charts, we can see here like 3 different charts that are listed. All of these charts are rendering random data that are not like coming from the platform. So what we'll do is we'll edit these 3 charts to show us some interesting data and KPIs from the platform. Okay. So what we'll do is we're gonna drill into the code. So if I go back in tutorial, basically it will tell us to go inside the charts that view folder and we'll go there. Okay, so in source src component, not components, it's views charts.js. So I'm gonna hide that a little bit. So basically, in the view component page, we got our like the divs that are rendering our 3 different charts. We're gonna focus on the first chart first, and we got a function, a method called create first chart. Okay. So here by default, it's loading this static data to render data in the chart, and what we'll do is just we're gonna remove that and replace it with some custom code. So here the chart, what we'll do is we'll create a function, and I can directly copy the code and explain you what it is. We're gonna copy this function here, which is gonna get us our pie chart data. So here basically you'll make a request to the Davra API, to an API called device counters, and the counter basically would tell us the number of data points received for each device. And here we want this for the 10 first devices. Okay, so let's make some annotation here, tag. So with the data, what it'll do is loop through all the data and give us like the name of the device and give us the count of the number of data points for the given device. Okay, so this is an asynchronous function. It's returning asios get auth. So it's like a promises. So in order to be able to load it synchronously, we'll have to just add an async in this create function. Let me just reformat the page here. Yeah, better. So async here, and here in the data, what we want the chart data now is to be the result of that function. So we're gonna do await this that get pie chart. All right. So this will load the right data into our chart. We'll have to make some changes into the graph here. So now the value would be the count. So it is just like following up the name we have here. So count, and here name, the category is the name of the device. Okay. So if I save that and go back to my application here, as you can see now, the data showing up is like the devices with the most data points. So we see we got two devices with a lot of data points, and the other ones are the ones who receive like a lower percentage of data points. All right. So this API gives us the count of number of data points received by this given device for the last 30 days. Okay, so we keep in memory for the last 30 days that device received 77,916 data points. Okay, so we're happy. If we want, so I put in the tutorial here a few things, so we can rename the chart, and we can even add an extra line to make the font size a bit smaller. So here to make these fonts here a bit smaller, because you can take a lot of space. So what I'll do, I can go back here, and here we'll just reduce the font size, and there we can, if we want, change the title of the chart, data point count per device, and if we reload, ta-da. Okay, now let's move to the second chart. So here what we'll do, we'll use a slightly different API, and it'll be the metrics counter. So if we go scroll down here for the column charts, we'll copy that function. So it'll be kind of same story up. So I scroll down here, I copy that up. So that function here, what does is tell us per metrics, a total per metrics of data points. So which is really nice. So that's the same, instead of like total metrics per device, is the total count of data points per device is going to be the total count of data points per metrics. So what I'll do here, I'll just copy that function. Same story here, the data, we want to replace what the data. So this was a static data up. I'm just going to move this away, up, and here place here is that get conchar data. We'll make this await, and this function will be asynchronous. Okay, so here we can change the title, total matrix count, and I think there were like kind of this default stuff to make the data change on the fly. So as you can see, this was moving. I will remove that up, so by just dropping this here. I think that was this function here, the set interval up. All right. What else do we need to do here? So change the category. So now it's gonna be a name and name, and here be count. And now we can look what it looks like. So now we can see here we got a total data points received for each metric. So number one is active power, and then we got the frequency, voltage, reactive, and apparent power equals these data points coming from the microservice that generates data automatically that we see, I think, in the Unit 2 or Unit 3 of the training course. Okay. So that's another API, can be useful to see which metrics are taking the, you're receiving the most. And now down there in this chart, we're gonna make a call to the time series API to receive data point and be able to plot charts. So I think in our scenario, because we got a lot of active power, we're gonna use active power as the metric we want to load here. So what I'll do is scroll down there. So that'll be this third chart, and I'll copy the following function. I scroll down here. So I call that get humidity data, but as mentioned, we're gonna probably use the active power. So I'm just copying this here. Active power. So we just rename everything here. Get active power data, and here it'll be active power. So basically we're gonna make a request to the time series data API, which basically is an implementation of KerosDB. So if you want to learn how to make a request or a query, you can either go to the dev portal, or if you want to go deeper, go directly in the KerosDB documentation. You'll know all about it. So here basically we're like, we want a maximum of 1,000 data point, and we want the average for each minute. The average for each minute, so it'll be the average active power across all the device for each minute. And here we want for the last 2 hours, okay? Which is cool. What we expect here is like the last 2 hours, so 120 data points. That's what we expect there, maximum, because we want 1 data point per minute. So they make the request and give us back an array of an array with a date and a value and name. So let me name this active power. And what we'll do down there is like average active power will be the title. And here the data, we can just squish that, make this async, and here we're gonna copy that. This that get active power data await. So we'll have to change the config here. So the value it's fine, date is fine. That actually perfect. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay. What else do we need? I think that's it. So now if we load back and we look at our application, okay, we got like kind of line chart and with some data. So it's okay. We got the data coming in. It's fine. But let's try to make it slightly better. We're gonna just improve the style of this. We're gonna pimp our graph. So this chart is using AM charts, so library you can learn how to use as well on am4charts.com. And what we'll do there is just add extra config. So we're gonna add some reduce the tension of the line. So instead of like big straight line, it'll be like more smooth. And we're gonna add also some bullet on the data point. So I'm just going to here up. Okay, save that. Okay, so as you can see here now, it's like a line like this, and if we zoom in, it's a bit like more curvy. So I can choose settings, we change. So for example, here's the stroke, I think it's too big, we're gonna put 2. We reduce the tension, and we add these bullets, okay? So let's say we're happy now with this application, and we want to be able to deploy it. How can we do that, all right? Well, we'll have to build this kind of, it's going to compile, because here we're running like a dev server, a development server. We need to run a build that can just compact our JavaScript together, bundleize it nicely, and then we'll have to upload that build to the microservice, and then just create a simple express to render, to just service that web application. So before we run the build command, what we'll have to do is just specify a few little things, and one of them would be the public path. So basically, it's gonna generate assets like the JavaScript and CSS, and what you'll expect is the given path. And because our app will be hosted on /microservice / unit7 app, we just need to reference that before the build. So if we go to the file here at the bottom, you'll see a view config file, and what you'll do is just replace the public path here by /microservice and then new microservice name. So in our case, I'll put unit7 app. Actually, it's microservices. Be careful, don't forget to put the S here. Unit7 app. Okay, so I can stop the dev server, npm run build, and it will just create a dist file with all our assets, and I'll show you how to upload that. So as you can see here, it's building, and we should see at the root here the folder. So perfect. What I'll do here is I'll rebuild in Finder. Okay, so here I should be able to see when the build is finished, the build with all my files. What I'll do is I'll zip the build and upload it. Okay, while this is finishing, it's taking a bit of time because I'm recording and my computer is slow. I'll here in the microservice that I just created, I'm just gonna update the index.js, and basically what I'll do is I'm just gonna copy and paste a simple code example, like simple microservice here, which basically just serve what's inside the public folder. In my case, we're gonna use a folder called dist for distribution. So I'm just gonna here change dist. And if we look here in the packages, I think Express is already loaded, so we're fine. Nothing else is required. So I can just save that. And now, hopefully the build is finished. The build is finished. I got my build here. I'm just gonna compress that. Okay, it's compressed, and I'm gonna upload it now. So to upload it here, boom, open. Fantastic, it's there, we can see it here. So what we'll have to do is fairly simple. We're gonna do unzip dist.zip, boom. Then what we'll do is remove the dist.zip file because I don't want to commit it up. Git add everything, git commit -m build one. Okay, git push. Alright, so if I look quickly here for sanity check, we can see that my href, for example, for 5 icon is referring slash macroservice slash unit7 like we wanted. So we know the asset will be loaded properly. And this is what we wanted, so that's cool. That's brilliant. So I think now the only thing I need to do is deploy. So here we're just gonna press the build button. So we'll know the microservice is ready to be used when we'll see this log here, Davra.node microservice listening to on port. That should be the sign that it's ready to go. So we just have to wait here to get the log showing up. It might take a few seconds as it's the first time that microservice is getting deployed, but yeah, we'll just wait a few seconds. Okay, so now it seems to be working. So if we click here, we can see that our application is now hosted on our tenant inside slash microservice unit app device. And if we scroll down there, we'll get the data showing up as expected. Alright, so that's it. That's a wrap for us today. That's all for our video. So if you want to learn more about the type of data you can pour inside an application, I invite you to visit directly our API reference inside developer.davra.com, and here you'll be able to navigate through, I don't know, the hundreds of API call available on the platform to be able to load devices, twins, automation, the features that we haven't talked in training, but that's another kind of aspect that's interesting. The user, the role, the IoT data, geofences, everything is there. All right, and you can even try it straight up using the dev portal by just filling up your credentials. Okay. Now, if you have any questions about the training, let me know. You can reach to us directly via the support here, or using on the main website davra.com. There's some form when you can reach to us. There's more tutorials, more focused inside the macroservice page here, where you can learn how to set up MQTT microservice, Kafka. Here we got Twilio integration, some WebEx integration, etc., or some more front-end related microservice, how to create a view sample application or a web application. All right, that's it for now. See you. Stay safe. Peace.